podcast that brings modern Satanism to the masses. Today on Black Mass Appeal.
Today on Black Mass Appeal, we can't do the Today on Black Mass Appeal.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, we can, but it's...
I did it already, so...
We shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
So here's the deal, unfaithful listeners. We recorded the main topic with Simone, but by the time we were done, we were really in no state to do the front of the show. We mentioned before we usually do the show backwards. That was poor planning in this one case.
Yes.
As you'll see when you listen to the main program. So that's why you're not getting your usual intro. You're not getting your, what has SBA been up to? Or the news. Should we do the doots in case people miss the doots?
Sure. You want me to do? I haven't done them in a
You
while.
haven't done them in a while.
We're getting drunk.
There we go. Yes, that is the news.
So yeah, we're not even doing an outro, nothing. Like, it's just... This one's just a straight shot right into your vein.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we're going to throw to us a couple of days ago with Simone and Geraldo. Again, check out, if you want to follow along with the video version, it's youtube.com/blackmassappeal. Hey Simone, you know what drives me to drinking?
Zencaster?
Yes, but that is the situational answer, but the everyday answer is Geraldo.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Him and Al Capone's tomb or whatever the fuck.
Al Capone's tomb, we know what's in that. That wasn't a mystery.
The
Yes.
vault. I'm not even drunk.
Well, not yet, but we will be, because this is our latest edition of Drunk Heresy, is it not?
Yes. I can say that with confidence.
Yes.
So here's the deal, listeners. We're going to be watching the infamous 1988 Geraldo special in its entirety. We're going to be drinking as we do, and we're going to be telling you exactly what we think. If you want to watch along at home, we'll tell you when to start the video. The link will be in the show notes. Or if you just want to appreciate the madness through the lens of our commentary, that is perfectly valid too, I think. Tabitha, what are you drinking?
I've got bourbon and ginger beer.
Lovely. I am drinking Black Girl Magic Sparkling Brut from the McBride sisters. My best good friend works for this winery, which is a woman of color owned and delicious.
I'm drinking some Bushmills Irish whiskey, and it's actually mixed into a pot of black tea from the Stag Tea Company. They're not sponsoring us, it's just true, although if they want to sponsor us, they can certainly look us up. I also want to point out I'm drinking it out of the mug that I got at the Devilish Little Things Museum, when Tabitha and I were up there a couple of years ago. Check them out if you're in the South Washington/North Oregon area.
Aw. You know, we've been doing some genealogy in my family, and turns out that my dad's mom's side of the family is from the town where Bushmills is made. Have I had Bushmills? No, I am a Jameson loyalist. I will get to it at some point.
Well, you know, this is a long watch, so I don't think we got a lot of time for background here. I will say I do one of these days want to do like a proper full episode about the infamous Geraldo special. That's not going to be this, though. This one is going to be, let's say, lively.
This is more of an MST3K riff tracks situation.
Yes. And I've seen this many times.
Wait. Mostly because it's the only way we could get it to work. I just want to put that out there.
Zencaster drove us to drink, which was fortunate because we were drinking already.
Yes.
I have seen this many times, but not in a couple of years. I am guessing it might be the first time either of you have watched it in its entirety. We did use some clips of it for our Antichrist Mass video a few years ago, for example.
Yes, I've seen clips, but I have not seen the entire thing, which appears to run about 90 minutes.
2 hours in the original broadcast. Still, I think, the best rated 2-hour documentary in network television history. And so By the way, shout out to the YouTube channel Occult Demon Cassette for uploading this. Occult Demon Cassette, a favorite of mine. And the link will be in the show notes. And so just push play when we say so. And there will be about 30 seconds of darkness at the beginning of the video, so don't be alarmed. 30 seconds of darkness, that's the substitute for 1,000 years of darkness for busy folks on the go, of course.
See, I thought it was like a metal cover band of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah, it's a cross between 30 Seconds to Mars and The Darkness.
Which would be a vast improvement on 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh.
Jared Leto sucks.
Agreed.
I'm going to hit the play button in 3, 2, 1. And here we go.
Deals with devil worship and satanic beliefs. It contains explicit scenes and descriptions.
So somehow we managed to just go ahead and blow past the 30 seconds of darkness, and we were on the disclaimer scene. Screen.
My life up to this point have been my 30 seconds of darkness.
You have to give a blood sacrifice to Satan.
Do we, though?
It's supposed to keep you protected. It's supposed to keep you pure.
I mean, I haven't had to.
We told that the devil would come and kill our parents.
This kid's haircut is making a great point.
It doesn't matter if you believe in Satan. It doesn't matter if you believe in demons. What's important is to know
fucked
that
up Roy
there are
Orbison
people
doing
out
here?
there that do, and they're willing to do anything to accomplish their goal.
This is bringing me back.
Oh,
hey,
hey,
Stinky. Pew.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Preys on the emotionally vulnerable, especially teenagers.
Especially teenagers.
Basically started out like with
Look at this.
killing of animals.
Do you think Satan granted him this chin?
Who's the comedian, Matt Rife, who just got, like,
Oh, yeah.
outed as being a fucking asshole and then also having, like, chin implants?
I had ever thought about killing
Really?
him just to watch him die. And they asked me
Some
if I would
plastic
like to
surgeon
join
was, like,
Satanic
making
cult.
fun of him on TikTok and, like, implying that he had chin implants, and Matt Rife went into the comments and was, like, fighting for his life, which basically confirmed that he has them. He could have just kept his mouth shut. Oh, now we got a skull with the swastika. This is no good. No good.
Now, I know where that footage is from, but we'll get to it.
Yeah.
It's been dirtied and degraded for too long.
Sometimes it's just half-baked
Just
mumbo jumbo and
6.
scrawled symbols.
I thought that was a dick. I thought that was a dick. It's a bone. Crossbones. I mean, it is kind of a bone, but, you know.
But at his own hands. I left him to your
Man, is it just me, or is Satanism a white people problem?
Yeah. We got a lot to cheer for.
You gotta hand it to Geraldo. He's laying it on real thick here. He's a showman. I'll give him that.
As thick as
I wonder,
his
like,
mustache.
Lady is the altar, but she's in the back of the room.
I believe that hate is necessary.
Pay no
Oh,
attention
look
to that woman in the corner.
Love is necessary.
The other face of adult Satanism
Are you
is
polishing his
violent
head?
and fiendish,
Maybe.
centered on sexual ritual and torture, frequently descending into the vilest crime of all, sexual abuse.
Ugh.
Nobody's doing that.
He has.
I wanna go down the slide.
Child being sacrificed.
We can point to some groups that do have a documented problem with abusing children.
He's disclosed molestation.
And it ain't the one
And what of
Geraldo's
their own
featuring.
Some
Yeah.
are born into satanic cults and grow up as lifelong members. Others are desperate to flee.
Look, everybody has shitty tattoos, not just Satanists, okay? That's rude.
They're going to catch me, it don't matter. I could run and run and run. They're always going to catch me because they're all over.
And beyond the mayhem and monsters, it's said that a nationwide network of satanic criminals exists.
They come out of the
The
ground.
warped and wicked Charles Manson.
Nobody fucking claims Charles Manson.
Well, some of the assholes in the previous footage do, but again, we'll get
Well.
to that later as well.
Demented son of Sam killer David Berkowitz.
And also Berkowitz and Ramirez.
Reportedly linked to the
Refer back to episode 88 for more on
Yeah.
both of these guys.
It's all over the United States and probably all over the world.
Oh my god, they got a black man to be in this? I
people
am
are
so
scared
impressed.
I do like his hat.
Impossible to measure.
I was about to
Easy to doubt. The very mention of it invites.
Okay, I did say I admired how much he's laying it on thick here, but this is running very long.
Yeah.
Did you have to pad for time? This was a 2-hour broadcast.
Often the choice is to avoid confronting it. Ignore it.
I'm afraid it would. I'm afraid it would.
It looks like
That
a
is not the choice
fucking
we
dowsing rod turned into a cross.
It's she's not possessed, she just has a pine allergy.
Via satellite, we'll be asking the youngest person on Oklahoma's death
Oh,
row.
you can hear more about Sean
Just
Sellers on
17
episode
when he
88 as
killed
well.
In the name of Satan, why he murdered his own parents. And to Southern California, where we will ask the
Do we
parents
need the
of
world map
children
if
in
everything is
Minnesota's
coming from
McCall
California?
preschool, why
I
they
know.
claim their kids were satanically
I feel like I'm playing Carmen
and
San
to
Diego.
London, where rock star
Oh no,
look,
we're
in
going to
Europe.
see Ozzy later, and he's in England. So
Poor
His
Ozzy.
fabulous hair.
this is
I
feathered
know.
hair era Ozzy.
Yeah, this is peak Adonis Ozzy.
Convicted killer Charles Gervais. Why he thought the devil would award him 10,000 souls.
What would you even do with 10,000 souls?
Open up a lot of credit cards.
It's like 10,000 souls when all you need is a knife.
You know, it is ironic, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is just like the inappropriately upbeat music, the
Whether
80s
it
graphics.
exists is
This
a
is
matter of
everything to me.
belief. But we are certain that Satanism exists.
Yes, Satanism does exist. Good job.
It's
Clap,
the
clap, clap, clap,
practice
clap.
of evil in the
Geraldo's
devil's
mustache.
name. It exists.
You know what? He
and
looks
it's
like
flourishing.
Waluigi. Why didn't I never notice
Members of
that
the
before?
audience tonight will
Oh my
attest to this.
gosh.
It's a him,
Friends and foes of
Geraldo.
Satanism, devil worshippers, and law
Hey, was that
enforcement.
Taylor Swift?
Experts
Oh yeah, this is when we get the
and
Taylor
victims.
Swift,
They'll
Xena
help us
LaVey.
understand this force that exalts
Xena, right?
evil.
Oh, I'm a little
And
rusty.
No, it's Xena, yeah.
We'll be asking why. Why does it exist? And why does it appeal to so many vulnerable people?
Because it
especially the
fucking
young?
rules.
Now, the
Yeah,
very
I'm
young
very
and the
vulnerable.
impressionable
Help.
should definitely
Does
not
Ozzy
be
know the
watching
camera
this
is on back
program
there?
tonight. This is not a
No.
Halloween fable.
What if it's
This
just a
is
loop?
real-life horror story.
He just gets up and
Give
pees.
small children bad dreams. As for teenagers
pick
Oh,
and
this-
their parents, we hope you are watching. Because
This
it's
did broadcast
they
around
who are
Halloween.
most likely to fall under the spell of this jumble of
I mean, this
dark, violent
mustache
emotions
situation is like,
called Satanism.
it's even
And in
more
some cases,
than Tom
be
Selleck.
driven
Like it's
Yeah.
like
committing terrible
wider somehow.
Wow.
Yeah, he's approaching Hercule Poirot territory.
Hercule Poirot. Oh, we got obsessed with those movies.
I keep wanting to tell people, like, you don't have to confess when he accuses you of stuff. He's not even a cop, he's just Belgian.
Are not. But there is an undeniable connection between obsession with the
that Jeff
really
Hardy?
hard stuff and the occult.
Oh, yeah, the really hard stuff like
This stone pony from Kansas City is named Spike.
The upside down cross is a symbol of Satan. Ozzy is the rock and roll.
It'd be extremely funny if it was like
And
Striper.
Do you have a hotel, or did you have a tattoo that said motel on it?
Of the beast. Starting some Iron Maiden
A
shit,
heavy metal
yeah.
freak from
Yeah.
Louisiana. Joe got
That was
himself
just the
into
Bible,
self-mutilation
Geraldo.
In Satan's name.
We cut our arms and let the blood drip into a cup, and we pass it around and drink from the cup.
Dude, that's
from
not
each other's
sanitary.
blood.
Kim
Not
from
sanitary,
Colorado
and it
also
really hurts your
practiced the
tummy.
gruesome ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Too much blood hurts your tummy.
We like to see blood, and we used to eat blood. And
You eat it?
Scabs.
Drinking blood as
Oh.
entertainment is apparently a
Nice
staple
bowl
in
full
the
of scabs
heavy
with your
metal
cocktail.
like Wasp.
Speaking of which, I think I'll have a little more.
Fucking
My
Dio.
life became centered.
I don't think you're disguising this guy well enough. He's,
Lou,
the
come
pixel-
back.
I mean, I could see his beautiful curls.
Lou,
The
we want you
pixelation-
back.
Satanism is more
Needs
obvious
to be a little
than
higher
lyrics
on that
of
one.
groups Like Megadeth, Slayer, Venom, and Iron
Yeah, Iron
In
Maiden.
St. Petersburg, Florida.
Maiden
recently,
rules.
satanic symbols
Simone, I remember a few years ago you went to see Maiden for like the first time. It was kind of a religious awakening for you almost.
So I was an Iron Maiden appreciator, and it turned me into an Iron Maiden fan.
Watching the news.
Dickinson flew like a little model airplane around the fucking stage. How could you not?
Woo!
Personally,
King Diamond, I think, not a Satanist anymore. I think he has, he's transitioned to something else. Don't quote me on this, I've been drinking.
An avowed
I want that
Satanist
robe,
Diamond's
though.
protest that he's not preaching is belied by lyrics laced with references
I
to
just love
death,
his Christmas
grave,
song.
and evil. Of course, the
There's
son
no
of just rock and
presents,
roll
not this
rebellion.
Christmas.
Satan has nothing to do with this kind of a concert.
Is that James Hetfield? Is that Anthony Kiedis?
This footage is
Yeah.
reminding me. Simone, did you see Me Summon the Darkness?
Parents are screwing up in the beginning. We're the next generation. And you like it.
God, I wish it was at that show. They look like they're having a fucking blast. Look at these guys.
I know, right?
There is no doubt
This
that
looks so much
satanic
fun.
activity in this country is increasing dramatically.
Lots of dudes with shirts off. I'm not mad.
That looks like you know when you're trying to get a mosh pit going and it's just not quite getting into second gear.
They take out the bones, okay, especially on the older type grave sites as this.
Well, now they're just
Our
looking at
understanding
bodies
is that,
found in the swamp.
The right little finger,
which
has something to do with their culture.
If you've seen the movie Winter's Bone with Jennifer Lawrence,
necklace out of
well, that can kind of happen to anybody.
The right knuckle.
Not just
and the
satanic sacrifices.
Is no longer John Loves Mary.
Death chamber, the point of
When was it John Loves Mary?
As you walk
Never.
into the main vault, it's a devil's
Oh,
pentagram.
shit.
Since when do we take graffiti in
the sign
abandoned
of the
buildings
devil.
at all
Over
seriously?
here, a bloody skull and
See, there's the
crossbones.
dick bones again.
I bet you
Maine,
anything they're
a
like
dozen
cutting
churches
really
with
close so they're not
the
showing the
satanic
dicks and
symbol.
stuff.
In California,
Bill
New
Ellis is
Jersey,
Raising the
Alabama,
Devil's
and
got a
elsewhere,
great bit on there about
police have
satanic
found
graffiti
converted crosses
scares.
and the remains of mutilated
Aw.
animals. But by far the most frightening of all are the reports of teenagers killing other kids in Satan's name. Item
See,
Douglas
today,
County, Georgia.
they just shoot each other, which is much better. Right, guys?
Yeah.
This is Geraldo here doing the classic Gish Gallop, where you say too many wrong things for anybody to be able to correct them.
Remove her from the courtroom, Mr. Sheriff.
17-year-old Melissa Ernest and two other teenage members of her coven admitted drinking her 15-year-old victim's blood, then dancing around her still warm body.
Coven.
Now listen to this report from a small
Coven.
town in Maine.
Yesterday's conviction of Scott Waterhouse for the murder of 12-year-old Giselle Cody may finally bring an end
What am I looking at?
I don't want to know what I'm looking at.
True.
Murder is
Item,
bad,
Long Island, New
okay?
York. Police arrest
Just to
17-year-old
make
Ricky
that clear.
Casso for the ritual murder of 15-year-old Gary Lauer.
He looks like an
Casso
asshole anyway.
gouged out his victim's eyes.
You heard it here first.
I'm kidding.
Oh, Geraldo's sleeves are rolled up. You know he's serious.
Mm-hmm.
Brutal enough to shock even hardened police officers.
Wah.
Detective Paul Hart thought he had seen everything. Then this
I'm
veteran
good
New
at
Jersey
tennis.
officer saw how a suburban
You know what this
teenager
reminds me of?
murdered and
That first
mutilated
season
his
of
own
True
mother.
Detective on
I believe that he
HBO,
was
where we
once again
all thought it
robbed
was going to be
because of
H.P.
the love of God.
Lovecraft or Robert
Get back
Chambers,
to
you
your
know,
approval.
King in
Sign
Yellow
below.
Carcosa shit, and it
Just
absolutely
barely
fucking
14
wasn't.
years old.
And some of us were
Tommy
really,
Sullivan
really
had
mad
written
because
his
we got
contract
excited
with
and
the
read the
devil
book,
before
all
he
for fucking
butchered his
nothing.
mother with his
I
blood.
was cracking up internally when you said you were reading the book because, like, I didn't want to spoil it for you, but I could have told you it's like you're not going to find any answers in there to anything.
I mean, I didn't want answers to the show of True Detective. Like, I was going to keep watching the fucking show, but, like, they make a big deal about the connections, and then it's just stereotypes of hillbillies doing incest. Like, why? Why did you even do that to me?
What did Tommy
This is
then
a this
manage
is
to do to
a,
himself? What wounds did he inflict on
cosmic
himself to
horror
kill himself?
cock
His
tease.
first self-inflicted wounds were a series of wounds to his wrists.
For weeks when people would talk about True Detective, I just assumed from the title it was a true crime show, so I didn't watch it.
Deep enough to actually
I will say, amazing performances by Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
tendons in his arm enough to
Is
snap
that
back
who
his
we're looking
wrist.
at right now?
And after doing that,
That's if they had a
he
baby.
slit his throat from ear to ear with a 3.5-inch knife
Oh man,
from
imagine.
the windpipe all the way back to the
There's a
spinal
rumor that they're brothers, that they're
column.
half
Almost taken
brothers.
his head off.
What?
There's a
Understandably
rumor
unable to
that
live with
they
the
share the
gruesome
same
memories
father.
in their family.
It's
Tommy's
almost
father
certainly
and
not
younger
true,
brother
but it's
have moved
entertaining.
out of state.
Is that one of the Malcolm in the Middle
You
kids?
can never find it in your heart to forgive your son?
This guy we're seeing on the screen right now looks like, oh my god, who's the actor from Warlock who's not Julian
How could this
Sands?
happen here?
Oh, I
A
know
nice
the
boy
guy.
from a good
I don't know his
Catholic school
name.
and a fine middle-class family.
You ever notice Warlock is the Terminator
This is
inverse?
what his room looked like on the night of the murder and suicide.
It's instead of the
That
future,
heavy
it's
lead
it's
not answering
you're
us.
just traveling from the
Veteran of
past.
Vietnam, had you ever seen
Oh,
anything
yeah,
that
I
brutal?
could see that. I could see that.
Certainly in a,
You know that movie, like it's right on the line of being a cult classic. It's never quite there.
Expect to see that type of violence.
It's
By the way,
just
And,
not
it
good
was
enough.
Rest in peace, Julian Sands. Sad story there.
There's few of us that will forget that.
Yeah.
Nor do you
Oh.
forget these drawings Tommy made just before he killed himself. But you continue to search for the
Okay.
reasons. What
mean-
made Tommy? What made the others do it?
Come to the Satan Club?
Come to me,
Oh, come
Satan.
to me. Come to me, Satan.
As reporters investigating this story for months, we have a good idea of what's going on in this
Wah.
country. Our big
Do
question
you?
tonight is why. This is Detective Sergeant Pearl Hart. Yeah, stand up, Paul. He's the man, the cop who
Love
investigated
Geraldo's
the Tommy
serious
Sullivan
voice.
tragedy.
So
I've
somber,
never heard
such
of a wound
gravitas.
that ferocious.
It reminds
And
me
the
of,
pictures are even more
what was it,
appalling.
Jerry Springer would do his
Pictures
final
that
thought.
we did not show here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think, you're not a theologian, you're a cop. Do you think that
I like
Tommy
that
was
they
possessed?
pulled in real tight because the boom
I
mic
think
guy was a
that,
little close for
that
comfort.
it
would have been a hell of an interview with Tommy had we located him.
This guy,
certainly,
I
like
was
I said
so
before, his death was
concerned
as
about
violent as his
Satanism
mother.
that he developed a crag on his forehead that
Are
was like
you
3 meters deep.
investigate these cases for
I love what
Alas, Botox was not yet invented.
Yeah, true.
I love when we open up our live interview by opining about the better interview we didn't get.
certainly is. There have been many cases down through the centuries, many in our
What, am I not turtly enough for the turtle club? Turtle, 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 turtle.
caused them to do many strange things.
Did you know that Dana Carvey and that whole crew learned about 9/11 while he was in the turtle costume?
No!
This is fucking true. And they all held a moment of silence before starting to roll while he's in the fucking turtle costume.
I'm glad you're on the program.
Well, I'll hand it to him. He's got the best story. Ozzy!
Ozzy! Woo!
Now, though, is
No, the best story goes to James Cameron, who was undersea looking at the Titanic when 9/11 happened, and when he came back up, Bill Paxton had to break the news.
But there is no doubt, at
That's on
least not
tape.
in our
I saw it.
reporting, that heavy metal music.
I'm
plays
loving Ozzy's
a
outfit here, by the way.
role.
Has
Every
no idea
single
what's
Shoulder
going on.
pads.
No
that
idea.
whose case we know about, who committed a violent act in Satan's name, was also into heavy metal music. What's your response to that, Oz?
Well, I don't really know. All I do is make music, you know. I don't,
What are we fucking talking about right now?
freak
Like,
everybody out. I mean,
Sabbath
I
started
always
out as a
played
band
heavy
called
metal music.
Earth, and it was like hella
Right.
hippie
When
and
I
shit.
was younger and I started
Right.
writing songs, my
And
world was
I
kind
don't
of
know
dark
the
and
history of
dingy,
Sabbath
you
and
know.
how they
I came from a
transitioned, but like,
working-class family
I
who
don't
had
know,
nothing,
people
no-
thought it
no
was
dough,
fun
no
and cool.
prospect of ever having much
So
money. And
I
so
wouldn't peg
that's how I
Ozzy
saw
as
the
like
world
an
as a charm.
originator
So,
of
well, not
satanic
all my
music.
songs are about Satanism.
Of course, in fact,
Not all my songs are about Satanism,
Stand by, Ozzy, because I
but
wanna
some
get
of them
to
are.
Sean Sellers, who's the youngest
Some of
kid
them
ever
about
to go on
weed.
death row in
Ooh!
Oklahoma.
Oh wait, that's the devil's
Sean is
lettuce.
a
I'm
kid
sorry.
who
That is
murdered
connected.
His mother
Alas.
murdered his stepfather, murdered a
Now,
convenience store
again, you can
clerk.
hear more about this case
What
back
does
on episode
Satanism have
88.
to do with it,
But,
John?
and
What
I think
did
I brought it up there
Satan,
too,
you
was
feel, have
Laycock
to
who
do
pointed
with
out
your murder of that
guys
convenience
like
store
this had a lot of incentive to play up to this media hysteria because it gets them sympathy and it gets them attention. He's on death row. He's got nothing else to do. So when Geraldo, or there's a lot of interviews with this kid, he's a he was a kid when he committed the crime. But there's a lot of pastors who would go and interview him and put out scare videos about this. What else has he got to do except entertain them? So
I mean,
I'm not
his
saying
hair,
he didn't.
clearly.
I'm not saying he wasn't a Satanist when he committed those murders. I have no idea. I'm
Fat
saying
guy in a little coat.
that's very unkind.
We're not
It
making
is,
fun
I'm
of the
sorry.
guy. We're making fun of the coat.
Actually, what I'm saying is that he looks a lot like Chris Farley more than the actual fat guy in a little coat joke.
And Sean here does look a bit like David Spade at the same age, actually.
Oh
so.
my god! Oh my god! They really do.
I
Oh!
was telling Tabitha the story just the other day. There was an interview I saw right after Chris Farley died where Spade was talking about, they shared an office, and I think it was at SNL at the time, and he would say there were so many times when it's like Farley would be telling him, it's like, turn around, hey David, turn around, and it'd be like, Farley, I swear to God, if you're doing fat guy in a little coat again, we're gonna have words.
Okay, we're back from the commercial break.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
have loved to have seen the commercials that aired with this.
Oh, this did not make a lot of this. There were not a lot of advertisers who wanted to sign on for this. It actually cost the network a lot of money. So even though it was highly rated, it was not a big hit for everybody.
Now, what we've kept is strong. We think it's strong enough to get across an effective warning. Satanism can be cause for concern. Its roots are anywhere.
Going back to, so Ozzy was talking there for what, 30 seconds maybe. That was a complaint I know that Xena and Aquino, for example, talked about. They came on here because they felt obligated to, but then there's just you just like on Tucker Carlson, you get your 10 seconds and then the cutoff is immediate.
Right.
And some mutilated animals turn up.
Is that a turtle?
Oh, I don't want to see these animals. That's bad.
Yeah, that's really
Those
sad.
charges were routinely discounted until a group of students from this high school shocked the entire nation.
The nation.
Late one night last December, 4 teenagers who had been dabbling in Satanism carried
Geraldo couldn't be
baseball
fucked to put on a tie for this one, I see.
and a length of rope to an isolated
too
spot
hot.
near their small town here in Missouri.
In
By the time
Missouri.
the night was over, the cat had been mutilated,
No.
and one of the
That-
boys beaten to
I'm
death
just gonna
by the
pretend
other
like that
three,
didn't
then
happen.
dumped his body
To
in
be
a
clear,
well.
like murdering
One of the
humans
kids
is
who did it,
worse,
Pete Rowland,
but
is now serving life sentence without
hurting
parole
animals
here at this
makes
maximum
me
security
more
facility
sad.
in Fulton, Missouri.
Yeah.
The other two boys, his classmates, were also sentenced to life.
Here in the first interview.
Long
since
story
the
short,
murder,
this was a drug
Pete
murder,
Rowland
not
talked
actually
about the
Satanism
satanic
related,
elements
but
of the
a
crime.
fascinating case study.
What was it about Satanism that attracted you?
Power. Just
Beforehand, I didn't have a
with
chin,
power
and now I
comes
have
money and
a chiseled
girls,
physique.
just a feeling of
I mean,
people looking
okay,
up to
all
you.
these like,
Popularity.
rumors and myths about Satanists getting money and power.
looking
Like,
guy,
I've been a Satanist for
smart.
nearly 7 years now,
You have those
and
things
I'm
anyway?
still fucking broke, and I still
seemed easier
hate
to
my
the
job,
devil.
and I
Same.
still,
The devil was
I'm
referred
not
to
living
this
in a
murder, which Pete
mansion,
confessed on this never-before-seen
doing
police
okay,
videotape.
but apparently other people were promised a lot more than what I got.
You know, I have often mentioned my career took off about 2 weeks after we did that first Black Mass in 2015. But, that's not because of the devil. That's because I busted my ass for years before that. So, and, notably, I'm still not in the Pulitzer set here. So,
Quite a bit of blood and hair on this thing. You can see a lot of hair on the end of it.
I was thinking about that. I might even write a blog about this. Like, people who are not Satanists seem very preoccupied with the idea that we become Satanists because we're pursuing some kind of certain agenda. It feels like we're sort of unique in religion for that. Like, nobody ever asks, like, why do people become Muslims? It's like, because their parents were, or because they went through a phase in college, or because they read the Quran.
There's many reasons.
Yeah. It's
There's
like,
many
what do
reasons why you would want to join a religion.
Right. It's like, what are you trying to get out of being what are you trying to get out of being a Muslim? It's like, fucking a beard, I guess? I don't know. It would be a very weird question to ask.
Right.
Like,
Or for anybody, like,
why
just
did you become like
satisfaction.
a Christian or a born again Christian? The answer is not usually power, money. Although then you look at like the super church preachers, and that's exactly what they did get.
Man, I bet Metallica was pissed that they put that Megadeth
Right?
CD up
Well,
and not theirs.
Metallica doesn't do a ton of like devilly shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
they do
true.
some Cthulhu shit. They did some biblical shit with like creeping death, but not a ton of devil shit. And there's Devil's Dance on the Black Album. Anyway,
severing flesh, gouging eyes, things like that,
Were you doing that?
After you listen
Superman?
to this, 3 or 4 hours a day, every day for, years or months, and it can get to you.
Why did you choose this guy as your victim? Why Steve?
Just because he was a human.
why Steve indeed?
Because he was a human and not some sort of alien. Oh.
I mean, I can look back on my dating life and go, why did I do Steve?
Yeah.
Again, we've been drinking, folks.
Yeah, the gloves are off.
And he just said, why me? Why me? And he just looked like he was really sad. And
I don't know. I'm just going to float the idea. Might this convicted murderer have some motivation to be not completely transparent with the audience?
You think?
Who knows? Who's to say?
it happened,
Oh, they're showing crime scene photos?
What the fuck?
Is that actually what this is?
But they're like very
They're like
blown out.
contrasty to sort of look a little blurry.
Are these the hands that killed
I thought we were done with him with the thoughtful pause. Now we're back.
Seem like it,
sorry.
For all of my true
I don't know,
crime
I would never wanna kill
consumption,
anybody again.
most modern true crime is very careful to not show
right
stuff
after we
that's
did what we
like
did,
truly gory. I mean, like mainstream, like podcasts and shit. Not that obviously podcasts are an audio medium, so they're not going to be showing you crime scene photos anyway. But just like you know, I am still shocked if I see a crime scene photo that doesn't have like the body blurred. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this was another gimmick of a lot of these satanic panic scare shows is, you know, they do try to give you the most graphic material possible as because, you know, the shock helps drive the message in.
Feel like I should have paid attention to. I saw the album.
There's an episode of Sally Jessica Raphael about Satanism that I've been trying to find a copy of online for years. Ooh. And unfortunately, if anybody out there has that, by the way, look me up. And there's a bit in there where they've got one of these cult cop guys, and he says that he's got a folder that will prove the satanic scourge striking America. And it's just a folder full of crime scene photos, and Sally takes one look at it, and she doesn't have the stomach to continue going. So that was what proved Satanism to her, that proved satanic panic to her.
Parents, heed the advice of Pete Rowland's mom. Pay attention. Satanism.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't
is not a
listening.
harmless fad or a passing phase in some of these kids' lives.
Yeah, Satanism, kids. Satanism is not harmless.
I know that your
Satanism
lyrics
will make you make friends. Satanism will give you activities.
Like,
Satanism
Slayer
will
Iron Maiden or some
lead
of
you
the
to
others,
cool
but
music
still,
and
for some
role-playing
reason, maybe
games.
it's because you've been around
And
so long.
Satanism will
I
make
see
you get
tattoos
drunk
of
on a
your name on
podcast
some of these
on a
satanic,
Friday night.
you know, teenage devil worshippers' arms. Wherever I see devil graffiti
like,
and satanic graffiti, I see your name.
How fucking high is this man?
Feel a sense
This is
of
so unfair.
responsibility, Oz?
The only responsibility I feel is the fact that I'm a true musician of what I play. I don't want to make anybody start doing all this devil worship crap, because that's not my intention. Although I have sang on a few songs about the devil, you know, that's about it. You know, I don't want anyone to harm themselves.
What about the issue of
Xena over there like, what am I
What
fucking
about
even
the
doing
whole
here?
thing about guilt? Do you feel responsible?
I don't
She's
feel-
regretting
I
her
don't feel
decisions, I
guilty.
think.
I certainly would be.
I think anyone who's ever been on Geraldo has gone through that
I'm not a bad
emotion.
guy. My intentions are not to harm anyone. In fact, it's directly the opposite. When
Man,
people come to my
every time I
concert, want them to have a
see
good, fun
every time I
evening
see
out, you
Eddie
know.
on this,
And
like
it-
they've
it
shown a lot of
seems to
Black
me that a lot
Sabbath,
of people judge
I'm
the
reminded
book by the
of
cover
one of my
more.
very good friends
So
has a
they write
poster
things
of
about
Eddie,
me,
but like
well, they
it's
don't
like
even
a
know
bootleg
what
poster, and
they're
Eddie
talking
has
about,
like
you
this fabulous pair of
there are
tits. So every time I see
people
Eddie,
out there, lots of
I
people here in
can't
our studio
like
audience that
see
are
him
very
without this like
different
amazing
point of
rack.
view. We'll get to them
Baphomet
coming up
Eddie.
next. A look into
Yes.
the dark soul
How has that not happened already?
I'm
Baphomet-
surprised.
Baphomet, if you will.
Cute.
Daniel.
It's hey, wait, can we pause it so I can get another drink since it's a commercial break?
I don't think. Can we pause it?
Satan means.
I mean,
Oh no, we can't. We can't. Never mind.
It's on
Never
my
mind.
forehead.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what?
but
You
just
go get it. You go
run
get a
and
drink.
it,
We'll
run and
cover
get
you.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
run because I don't
You
care
just-
about. this
You're not
motherfucker.
missing anything but
My
Manson.
water, my trees, and my wildlife. It's me and that cameraman.
I like how Ozzy was like, "It's not my intention to hurt anybody." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's Sharon's job."
Devil worship will continue.
I've seen interviews where she talks about this phase. Like, he really took this shit personally. And he was like, it really hurt his feelings, these people,
Once
you
again, a
know,
warning about some tough
projecting
language
these
and
very
descriptions
sinister
in a report
motivations
that we'll
onto
have
him.
for you in just a moment. Let me introduce you first, though.
Refresh
to
my
Zena
memory.
LeVay.
It was
Her
Judas
father,
Priest.
Anton
It was
LeVay,
Rob
is,
Halford that
I
had to
guess,
go
the
to
founding
trial
father
for
of
this, right?
Satanism in
For the
this
backmasking, yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Founding it about 25
And,
years ago.
Yeah,
Here's Taylor Swift
Can you tell us
on
with
her
any
Eras
certainty
tour,
how
her Satanic
widespread
Panic
the
era.
religion of
Okay,
Satanism is
so here's the deal.
in this country?
My source on this, by the way, the book Satanic Panic, Pop Cultural Paranoia in the 80s. And according to one of the essays in there, so Geraldo's crew was at the 1988 concert where Xena and Herman Munster and Boyd Rice were shouting Heil Hitler at a photo of Charlie Manson on stage. And they told her, hey, look, come on the show and we won't show most of that footage. But if you're not here, we'll break. So they twisted her arm. Yeah.
Look at
and,
those eyebrows.
Interestingly enough, and they're not
Those are like
gone.
baby
Oh, you gotta-
eyebrows compared to what comes later.
That's true.
You gotta love the eyebrows.
And his helmet hair. He looks like a Lego man.
He does.
It looks like it's sprayed on his head.
It does to Christians in the United States.
He's like a Ken doll.
By our own standards,
I could see why he grew a
the
beard.
people who you've shown in these film clips would not be Satanists.
You know, Aquino was a creep in his own right, but somehow I do find him so much more personable seeming than LaVey. Imagine if LaVey was on this show right now. Can you imagine what a putz he would be making himself right now?
Oh, boy.
Well, originally, the Church of Satan, when it was
The colonel here, much more media savvy, ironically enough.
People who, by and large, were agnostics and atheists because they felt
I just want to see Colonel Sanders on this now.
Around Christianity had failed in their moral commitment.
It's not really what I meant, but sure.
No, I know what you meant, but now it got my brain to thinking about other colonels, and now I'm just thinking that human sacrifices are finger-licking good, and gotta season them with 666 herbs and spices.
Are there that many? Oh my god.
Well, I mean, the Europeans sure loved colonizing to try and get them and then never use them.
True enough. They just wanted to keep them.
Ritual called exorcism.
Here we go.
Exorcism.
Listeners, did anybody out there see this live when it aired? Let us know. Well, we got some black folks in the broadcast. You happy?
Hey, I mean, no.
Nice stereotypes.
Yeah.
What?
What?
This aired in '88.
Operating out of the back room
This aired in 1988. First of all, that's the year that Die Hard came out. Second of all, I was 5.
Now, I want to point out, there is a Botanica in San Francisco where I have bought some supplies for our rituals in the past. But, so have some Catholics. A lot of Catholics shop there. So.
Oh, don't hurt the chicken.
And accompanied by throbbing traditional music.
Oh, Geraldo looks fucking pressed.
Yeah, he didn't know what he was signing up for on this one. I would love,
I feel
by
like
the
they
way,
were feeding him like alcohol, and so he's just like kind of loaded, and is like,
I would love, by the way, one of these days to do an episode about voodoo, about Santeria, about Palo, about all of these Afro-Caribbean religions that got slandered as Satanism during this period.
Yeah.
Exorcisms of the devil appear just as sincere.
Why are they just exercising like normal ass people in a theater?
Oh. I mean, don't get me wrong. This is how I react every time I see Bob Larson. It's got nothing to do with the devil.
React so profoundly to the laying on of the cross because they feel and fear themselves possessed by the devil.
See, they'd never believe me, but man, would I like to go to one of these things and go totally bananas.
Go back to, I think it was episode 55 where we had Satan Haas on talking about when they attended one of these services.
What's that smell?
Be nice.
Pew.
Come forth and bestow these blessings of hell upon us.
I forget who said this on Twitter, so please let us know who it was, and please forgive me for forgetting. But they said something along the lines of, being a Satanist means that I recognize every woodcut used in what they do in the shadows.
Yes.
Same here.
Yes.
In this special, we saw some choice woodcuts, and I'm like, I know where that's from. I've used that for a poster.
As much as I give...
I believe that hate is necessary in a controlled way just as much as love is necessary.
As much as I give him a lot of shit, I really do like that hood with the horns on it. I think it's cute.
Well, Betty Page had like a version of it, so it was like cute and sexy.
Yay.
But as much as I love Vincent Price, maybe LaVey should have played Egghead on the original Adam West Batman. They wouldn't have needed a prosthetic.
Most of the people that are in my group are professional people. They're business people. They're people that are from very responsible walks of life.
I am a business people. I'm a professional people.
That's true. I have been professional.
Yet apparently most common rituals in devil worship is the sacrifice of animals.
No, it's not.
Often
No,
involves the removal
it
of
is not.
organs and the draining of their
No.
blood. Well, a series of cattle mutilations.
That Ellis book also got a great chapter on cattle mutilation.
A shiver of fear through this entire community.
Oh, I don't want to see
It's
this.
just dead. It's just dead.
Oh,
It's just dead, and some scavengers got to it.
Yeah, like...
They cut the tail off. The same thing with the ears.
To this day, I'm still like a little bit butthurt that I did that Discovery Channel show, Expedition X, and about animal mutilation, and they cut me out. And like I had told everyone I was gonna be on this fucking show, and then it aired, and not one Simone to be seen.
That's so... Such a
In
crime.
response to the animal mutilations and other mysterious and
I would rather
unsolved
look at
crimes
me
in
than
this
look at
area,
mutilated
the local
animals. I
fundamentalist
know that's a low
church
bar,
held an
but
extraordinary service.
There's been
I have
no
also
questions.
risen.
Are there any witchcraft,
Sorry.
occultism, Satan worshippers in the
Man,
area?
I love you see these
And the answer is
crowds in
obviously
these,
yes.
like in these churches, and you're like,
The only
yeah,
way to deal with Satan
these are the
is a
motherfuckers.
spirit, is by way of spirit.
They look so fucking bored.
The preacher asked his flock to
These are the
protect
kind of
themselves
people
with
that
their
would want a
faith.
monorail in
But
their
some children
town.
were
monorail.
Was that Bob from that '70s show?
And I believe in you. But I'm still going to carry my gun because I'm scared.
Yes.
In our
Shoot
investigation,
Satan.
we discovered
No,
that some
don't.
of
Don't do
Satan's
that.
Soldiers are also high-ranking officers in the United States military.
Oh, it's a Presidio.
Here at San Francisco's Presidio Army Base, for example, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino
No,
led a
come
double
on,
life
dude. Get his name
as a
right. That's
satanic
rude.
high priest.
To be fair, I
Colonel's
made that
cult
mistake
is
a lot.
listed in the San
All right.
Francisco
I'm
telephone
actually
book.
really not
And
sure
his
which
phone
way is
answering
correct.
machine
Oh
boasts
my
his
god.
affiliation.
I just realized I really want an old telephone book
The temple is the only
so I can get one of these.
satanic religious
This voicemail was
institution
active.
fully recognized
Sorry,
by
this
the
voicemail was
United
active just a
States
couple of years ago. I know because I called.
Indeed, the Army does
Aw,
officially
awesome.
recognize Satanism as a legitimate religion and supplies chaplains with this guide for ministering to the satanic soldier.
That guide no longer
Yet,
used, by the way.
unofficially, some charge that
Aw.
Army bases have become
sure.
Has it
sanctuaries for
been
devil
replaced by
worshippers.
something better
Just
or
last month,
I don't know
under
better,
all
but it's
the
been replaced by
rules,
something
I
that
took
doesn't
a
mention the
midnight
Church of
tour
Satan,
of
which
the
is better in my
Presidio
book.
grounds with police
Well.
investigator Ed Abanovsky.
Are you saying that there was a satanic cult active right here on the Army base?
We believe
Yes.
so. There's evidence to substantiate
Here's the
that.
evidence.
it's
They
called the
have
Army
Uh,
and they do
going
blood
on. There's an
sacrifices all
altar
the
in there,
fucking
and
time.
all of the graffiti
What do you
and
do?
all the
Hey,
rest.
Geraldo, nobody told you you could do that. Stay on the other side of the barrier.
Had to find
And
This
they
is an
brainwash
OSHA
kids.
violation.
fortification during World War II.
What if he just fucking fell? I would laugh so hard.
I can see a pentagram painted on the wall. I can see the words Prince of Darkness.
Oh my god. I saw that
On
ulumovie.
this wall, I see several
You know, Rift Trax is a very
crosses
polished,
and other
rehearsed
obvious,
product that they're giving you. You're not getting that here.
No,
this is
yeah.
raw, off the cuff
We've
Satanism.
agreed to conceal your identity, but you are
And we're
an
not
officer
even
in
trained
the United
comedians,
States
so we extra apologize.
Yeah.
We're
You were an
just
officer in the
drunk.
United States Army during the time
You-
were a
you-
member
you
of
did this to
satanic
yourself.
organization.
Yes.
Just drunk would be a good
Did
title
the
for a
authorities
podcast.
at the Presidio
Probably
know
not,
that
actually.
satanic
It probably
organizations
would not be a
acted
very
on
good
their base
podcast.
during the
Well,
time
the
period?
hosts would all die
They were
of
very
like
much aware of
fucking
it, yes.
cirrhosis of the liver
The
in 6
present
months.
base commander, Colonel
You know, it'd be
Rafferty,
fun
says
for
that
like
today, at least,
the first like hour, or I don't know, maybe even half an hour of the podcast, depending on how long it is, and then it would just get like sad.
Someone's gonna start crying and then talk
Yeah.
about dialing their ex, and the other person's gonna be like, "No, you're so beautiful. You don't have to." But I miss her.
At the Presidio Daycare Center.
See, that's the thing. This is why everybody loves drunk history. I think it's funny for like a minute, and after that, I start getting annoyed.
Were ritualistically abused by soldiers.
I love drunk
Satan.
history. I think it's
What
really
I should
funny.
have done.
So I do like those because the drunk people are
oral
really
copulation,
trying to make a
sodomy,
point or tell a story, and they're so
defecation,
fucking
they were urinated
determined.
on.
But it's
Yeah.
the drunkness getting in the way.
The former chief
Us
juvenile
right now,
investigator
we
at
have
the
no point.
Presidio, Ed
We have
Abanovsky,
no
is here. He's now a
destination.
deputy sheriff in
We're
Santa
just
Clara County.
Hey,
Colonel Aquino,
trailing
we note,
off into the
sir,
distance.
For
I
the
don't know.
record, that you were originally implicated in the dreadful charges of child abuse.
Ugh.
We note also that no
Blink, blink,
charges
blink,
were ever
blink, blink,
brought
blink.
against you, and presumably you have been cleared. Would you like
Blink,
to
blink.
comment?
So wait,
on
if
why
no
those
charges were brought,
against you?
how could he be cleared?
Well, the entire
They
time
weren't
that,
brought.
Temple of
the
Set.
so-called child molestation
Make
scandal
make
was
it look like an
occurring at the
acronym
Presidio.
It does.
of like
Time
sexy
period when,
extraterrestrials.
these terrible events were supposedly taking place. I was
You're not just an
assigned
ET,
to the National
you're an
Defense
SET.
University in Washington, D.C., and my wife was out there living with me.
But is it not a fact that a 3.5-year-old girl identified you as the alleged perpetrator of molestation?
No, as,
Well, that's just 'cause she watched a lot of Star Trek.
It is not the case. An accusation
It's also
made by her
if he
stepfather,
was
who was
cleared
an Army
of
chaplain,
legal charges,
speaking on behalf
that
of
would
this
not be a
child.
fact because
In her original
if it was a fact, he
interview
would
with
have
the
been
FBI, she
charged,
denied ever being molested.
Well, I've seen the you
right? something like that.
Well, yes, true. Obviously, that was not a accurate identification because he was out. We've talked about this case on the show before. In fact, go back to episode 49 where we talked to Debbie Nathan. This is the only instance I know of where an actual Satanist was ever accused of satanic ritual abuse. Presumably, there were a couple of others because statistically it feels like there must have been, but it never comes up. Only non-Satanists got caught up in the anti-Satanist era.
The irony.
To uphold the Constitution of the United States that you are also a practicing Satanist.
Not in the least. The
Aquino's ears are really long.
For the last 20 years, there has never
Do you think
been
that's a
problem
Satan
with it
thing?
any more than there's a problem with other members of minority
I'll say
religions.
yes. Why not?
Satanic Bible.
Sure.
This is the number one, I guess.
Oh, Geraldo's reading the
commandment.
Satanic Bible.
Death to the weakling, wealth to the strong. How can you believe this and still uphold the Constitution of the United States? Death to the weakling?
Well, for one thing, what you're looking at there is a highly polemical book that was never meant
Now, it's
to be
interesting
taken
here,
literally
Aquino
all the
jumping
time.
to the defense of the Satanic Bible, because I think it's not long after this that he would be railing about the plagiarization of Might is Right for that very quotation.
Yeah, but he's not going to do that on Geraldo, even if he's like angry about it.
I mean, it's just so plain to see now, like the wealth gospel or the prosperity gospel, where God is granting the righteous money and power, and that's why Trump should be president, blah, blah, blah. And then you're reading the Satanic Bible. And again, I'm not agreeing with every word the Satanic Bible fucking says. Of course not. But it's just like, how could you look at the Satanic Bible and be like, oh, horrors, you're saying that, you know, the weak should not be inheriting the earth, and then when you look at the actual practice of, you know, that version of Christianity, it's like, that's exactly what you guys are doing.
I just want to note the intense irony of Geraldo sitting here saying, how could you possibly believe death to the weak and be a member of the U.S. Army?
Yeah. Also, okay, this guy behind him with the glasses who looks really concerned,
have somebody in our army.
Sort of, number one, freaks me out.
Yeah.
Number two, reminds me of one of my grandma's friends that, like, gave me the willies. And so he's also giving me the willies.
We have to take a break.
We're very preoccupied with how the 88 folks look, I notice.
It's different.
During the pandemic, we started watching Cheers, and, like, Norm is all of 36 in season 1 of Cheers.
Oh my God. He
Right?
looks like he's 45.
I know. And then we watched this whole long video on YouTube about why people in the olden days look old to us now. And it's like a whole combination of, like, mostly A, like not taking care of yourself, drinking too much, smoking too much, not wearing sunscreen, not taking care of your skin. But then also B, in our modern times, we associate certain hairstyles and clothing styles with older people. So when we see young people wearing them, they look old to us. Because,
that's interesting.
you know, your grandma kept her bouffant well past the 60s. So even if you put a young person in a bouffant, she's going to look
That's
old.
the baby right there.
Right here?
Uh-huh, it came out of her already.
What'd they do to the baby?
Then David took it and kept throwing it against the wall, and he killed it, and he took it in the house.
No, you saw that?
Yeah.
These are pictures that can chill a parent's soul. They're a symptom that something dreadful, unspeakable has happened to the child. In this case, it's an 8-year-old boy from Grenada, Mississippi.
They took us in an old caboose, and they had these things they called spanes.
Spains?
Yes, spanes. They stuck it up my butt.
Who stuck it?
David.
Your dad?
Uh-huh. Ow, did it hurt.
2 doctors have provided medical
Oh, no. This poor child.
Abused. His mother goes further. She claims the sexual abuse happened as part of a satanic ritual.
Do you allege your husband was part of a satanic cult?
I allege that he was.
I just want to point out, because of the way we're doing this stream, we have very few options to edit this episode after the fact. So you're getting us very unprocessed.
Raw and uncut.
Apparently more and more of it is taking on the dark overtones of Satan.
That's a Cato mask. What?
and she said she talked about there being boys that had hurt her.
Like, look, like,
Listen to what this 5-year-old
you know, we're
girl
drunk
from
and we're
Orange
talking,
County,
so I haven't
California
absorbed
told her mother
the entirety
what
of
father did to
the
her.
segment that's currently
Daddy,
on.
was
But
heading a
like,
meeting, and he wore a real
if
life
this
baby
guy
foot
did
around
nothing
his
to
neck.
his children,
She says they each
I'm
drank
like, I feel
the
bad
blood,
for
and
him,
then they all
and I
hurt
want
me.
him to sue her for
Said,
like
"How
all
did they
these
hurt
false
you?" She
accusations
spread
on
her legs
national
and
fucking
pointed to their
television.
crotch and says,
But if
"Right
he
here."
did harm the children,
And it gets worse.
fuck
According
that
to
guy.
his family, this severely traumatized 10-year-old boy.
I think that's a
also
walrus
from
in
Southern
disguise.
California, was allegedly
It's
molested
a walrus.
by a trusted neighborhood minister.
Grandpa
He looks like the
Walrus.
Pringles can guy.
Satanic cult.
Jimmy
Cuckoo
talked
Gachoo.
about having a gun held
He's got the
to
same
his
color
chest,
palette and everything.
about being shown a skeleton,
Yes.
about having to touch the skeleton. He has drawn pictures of a child being sacrificed.
These things make me
He's
sad
talked
only because like
about
they obviously like
animal
traumatized
sacrifices.
so many children.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying
molestation.
attention. Is this Judy
In the very
Smith from the
place created
McMartin
to
scare?
care for children in
Well, her
nurseries
name was
and
Judy
daycare
Smith.
centers across the nation. There are increasing reports of ritual sexual abuse. The children of McMartin are
there we
still
go.
filled with lurid stories.
And like, could you just imagine like these kids
What did they say the devil would
just
do to you?
putting them in these rooms and being like, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" And like,
Told that the devil would come.
Well, you know, the really
and kill our
sad thing, and we
parents,
talked about that when we did the McMartin
and
episode, I think that was
he said that
146.
he wouldn't
Don't quote me on
live
that. But,
past
you know,
the
some of these
age
kids, as they got older, they realized that this was nonsense and that they'd kind of been taken advantage of. But some of them still believe it because
touching us
it
in
was,
places
you know,
we weren't. And then they would like
really that version of it was forced on them, and it's very hard to break break out of that, even to this day.
Well, while I
scare
am,
us
of
really
course, relieved
No
that there
region
was
in this country is
not
beyond the
any
reach of the devil
actual
worshiper. Even here
physical
in the
abuse
heartland of
happening
America,
to these
stories
children
of
in the
ritual
way
abuse
that they
pop
were
up.
accusing.
The children you're
These
about to
children
meet
were
born
still
into it.
abused
They say
by
their parents
their
forced them to
parents and the
witness
police
bloody
and the
rituals.
system
Yes.
of putting
Even
them
they
through this,
participate
and they are still
in
super
ritual
fucked up
murder.
because of it.
Now in the
So
state
Yeah.
even
haven of a
though
concerned foster
they
family,
happen to not
the
have
children are
been
haunted by their
assaulted in
personal
this way,
nightmares.
they are
My dad was
still
involved in a lot
they've
of it.
still
He's, like,
absolutely been hurt and
one of the
are
main guys. He's the
victims
leader.
in a
Like,
way
they
that makes me incredibly sad.
have sex with
Yeah.
them.
Even though I'm
and
relieved that Satanism
with
had
other
nothing to do with
guys,
it,
and
it's still
and with other people.
an absolute tragedy,
Um,
an American tragedy.
Yeah, that's the great irony. We talked about that again in episode 49, our Satan Silence episode. Again, it was the investigation that sexually abused these kids by putting them through these invasive, unnecessary medical examinations. It was the investigation that psychologically abused them by telling them these bizarre stories about cults and sexual abuse and just bizarre confabulations. It's the anti-Satanists who were performing the satanic abuse.
Yeah, it's all just fucking adults with their weird neuroses and hang-ups and superstitions, like acting it out through their children and damaging their children. So the adults like just want to line them all up in a row and just slap them in the face. Slap, slap, slap. At a minimum.
Slap them.
The satanic cult that she
Now,
was
I don't
involved
remember the timeline, how close we are to
she
the
was
collapse
made
of the
to
Big
take a gun
Martin
and
prosecution
put it up
at
to
this
someone's
point.
head
But I do remember by
file
88,
and pull the
the
trigger.
even though this Geraldo special is kind of the high watermark of satanic panic culturally in America, but by this time, a lot of skepticism had set in, both in terms of law enforcement and media reporting about this. And I remember particularly if you read Satan's Underground, which came out this same year, the what's it, Lauren Stratford book. In her intro, she talks about how we can't let the devil win by letting people stop believing these things. She has this just very breathless tone in that, and so that's always a very interesting point in time record of the narrative starting to slip away from some of these folks.
So a real quick Google tells me that January 1990 is when they were acquitted.
Oh, so it was a while after this.
Mm-hmm. Of course, there was a second trial. Again, refer back to our previous episode for that.
I don't believe you. How do you react? What do you do?
And then the third one, when they sued for everything that had been done to them, and unfortunately that, I think, unsuccessfully.
Or you hear something from somebody else, just remember what you heard from me.
They being the McMartin family and staff. Sorry, pronouns.
Are you telling us the truth?
You know, I get why they're doing these like nose and mouth shots, but they're actually really lurid to me. Like they seem like a little too like invasive.
Let's go now.
Yeah, can't you just blur the kids' faces? What's going on?
Yeah, like it feels really, I don't know, kind of sensual, and I don't like it.
Speaking of the cast of Cheers.
Ooh, via satellite, let's go.
The future is now. Jeez, how much longer is this?
What is much less known.
A while.
We're at 47 minutes.
27?
47.
Okay, good, because I'm like, I'm pretty loaded. I hope it's not just a half an hour.
Yeah, this champagne has gone to my head by now. Excuse me, sparkling brute.
How many people did watch the full 2 hours, do you think? Again, I've seen it more times than I should confess.
Literally all these, a bunch of parents wringing their hands were the ones that watched all 2 hours.
There was shit else to do. What else are you going to watch? Are you going to turn on fucking Game of Thrones? No.
This guy is a real estate novelist.
Who never had time for a wife.
There were only 2 other networks, and Fox had not yet premiered The Simpsons.
And they mix it with urine, and then they also use the real meat, the real flesh. This is what makes Satanism true, and this is what
again, yes, we do sometimes use blood and animal remains in our rituals, but we get them from a butcher shop because how is that just not easier than whatever the fuck he's talking about?
Yeah, and all of my bones came from the woods.
Now,
I don't know about anyone else, but mine just came from the woods.
So there's one time I got really stoned, and I was gesturing to Javier that I had something very, very urgent to tell him. And he comes to my side, and he's like, okay, yeah, what? What's up? And I'm like, I have bones. That was it. I was just really distressed that I had bones for some fucking reason.
Okay, small digression, because I have a story very similar to that, where I found a note from myself when I was really high. It was very, very small on like a receipt, and I'm talking about like so tiny, like 3 font size, and it just said, I get headaches. Because apparently I got so stoned that I got a headache, and I was like trying to write a note to myself like, don't get this stoned, you get headaches, but I just wrote, I get headaches.
I, on the other hand, have almost never been high in my life. Say no to drugs, kids. There's
well, that's why you do drugs with a buddy, a sober buddy, to make sure that you don't like start crying that you have bones.
Yeah.
There was one time when I thought I was raiding my roommate's stash of post-Christmas chocolates that it turned out to be mushrooms.
Whoa!
They weren't very strong though, so I didn't have like that could have gone very awry on me.
Yeah.
As it turns out, I was just like kind of drunk and couldn't figure out why for an annoying period of time.
That's drawn by Lisa Steinberg with the satanic.
It's cute. She did a great job. A+. She should get a gold star.
Raggedy Ann.
Is that the Order of the Eastern Star with the colors there?
It is. Endless
Yeah. I've seen that one before.
Speaking of Professor Laycock, he just published a really great paper about talking about the elusiveness of defining Satanism. And one of the things he pointed out there is like all of this talk about inversion and taboo has the real intention of this is to sort of reinforce the status quo, the idea that evil people are doing the opposite of whatever these moralizing folks think is true, is just to emphasize the idea that what they believe must be right. Otherwise, why would we want to defile it? When the actual answer is because it's funny.
Lucas, Ramirez.
Oh no.
Also, because an inverted cross is so much easier to draw than a pentagram. Have you tried to draw a pentagram freehand? It ain't fucking simple.
It's hard.
I get the angles wrong all the time. It's lopsided. Inverted cross, man, 2 lines. Bip, bam, boom, you're done.
Will continue.
Dude, who gave Charlie Manson that fucking awful mullet?
Deals with devil
Probably
worship
himself.
and satanic beliefs.
Prison
right.
barber, I think, in this case.
He was like, give me a mullet.
I love watching like collections of commercials from the 90s on YouTube when I'm bored. And it's the
we
one
watch Halloween commercials sometimes.
Oh, that's good. I like finding Bay Area ones because I want to see Paul from the Diamond Center.
And Mr. Chow.
Mr. Chow. I want to see Tri-City Sports.
Yes! Oh my god.
I gotta get another drink. Hold my spot.
And I've been
Okay.
asked repeatedly where the idea
I'll
to do
let
it
you
came
know
from.
what
Well, it
happens.
goes back to someone that I interviewed for our special
Wow.
last spring on murder. And
Special last
frightening
spring on
fascination, verging
murder.
on adoration that so many people felt.
You can see those fucking Satanists there, like, why are we still here? Why are we still here? Also, Aquino blinks a lot.
Here's Charles Manson.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, well, the lights are bright in there, it looks like.
I kill everybody since day one.
Can we just never talk to or about Charles Manson again, please?
That's exactly how I feel too. Like, who gives a flying fuck?
Well, you know, 2 hours is a long time. They've got to fill material. I've switched to vodka,
Yeah.
by the way. This is the vodka left over from our New Year's party, and still drinking out of the teacup though, because I am
You're classy.
eminently classy.
Yeah.
Yes.
We drank vodka with Cool Russians, and they brought gherkins and herring and salty mushrooms, and it was so good.
Shit, we've still got some gherkins. Do I have time to get those? Are we still on the Manson stuff?
Yeah. Oh wait.
Oh, we're on
now
track.
Yeah.
We've switched over to the Vanilla Herman Munster, as I refer to him. Shrek, of course, quite a blowhard, although I have in the past praised his satanic screen book. That's been a really handy reference for this show. So,
Well, that's
I'll
true.
Give him, I'll give him credit for that.
Oh, didn't I get you that book?
You did. It was a great gift, very comprehensive, interesting read, brief but well informed.
The son of
So,
Sam was also a Satanist. The serial killer who terrorized New York
fucking
while
Berkowitz.
murdering 5 young women and seriously wounding at
Yeah,
least
okay,
6
this is
others.
bullshit. I'm gonna get some
Berkowitz
gherkins. Bring
was
it back.
deeply involved in
All
bizarre
right.
rituals. So was Henry Lee Lucas, who told police he murdered his girlfriend, his
Yuck.
mother, and others across the country, all for a satanic cult.
Really, Henry Lee Lucas? That eluded me somehow.
It's supposed to be for the reincarnation of the devil.
It's just, it's such an easy, especially during this time, like so easy. Just say it's the devil, and people will be like, "Oh no, the devil did it!" Wah.
The devil.
Hail Satan. Hail Satan.
Hail
Hail Satan.
Hail
Hail a
Satan.
belief system that
No,
exalts
wait, no, I feel
sadistic
dirty
murder.
saying it after Ramirez said it.
Oh yeah,
said
sorry, I regret it. I regret it all.
Tabitha, you and I, we're going to say our own Hail Satan of our own volition. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Hail
Satan. But, yeah, that has nothing to
that
do
was for
with these
us.
farts.
That was
Yeah.
This of course footage from that '88 rally, Church of Satan rally, previously mentioned. Because of course, what
Oh,
else
the
is
one
it
that
gonna
they
be?
said they weren't going to show if they came on.
Well, they said they'd show more, and specifically noticed
Oh,
that
I
they're not
see.
showing Xena, for example.
True.
Are the all-stars in the halls of infamy. But the vast
But
majority
you
of
know,
these
it's
ritual murders
we
are
talked
not
about this on the
work
show
of a
before. When there
celebrating
is no great Satanist conspiracy,
literally
you've got to
hundreds of
invent
cases
one. You know,
most
you
of
got to
us
work with the
have
shit
never
that really happened.
Like
Murders
Right.
really
murder in
happen.
Denver, Colorado, with a
Neo-paganism
big
really
chain
happens.
and
So you
exploited.
have to try to
Authorities claim that before he
confabulate
died,
the Satan scare out of this.
in drinking his own blood.
So this is a problem that I have. Hey, hey, I see my house.
Trans-American building.
I always have a problem where like people will say "Hail Satan," and it's times that I don't want to say it, but like I feel compelled. Like just a minute ago with saying "Hail Satan" with Ramirez, like I don't want to, but oops, I did because people say "Hail Satan," I want to say it back.
It's Pavlovian for us now.
Yeah.
Prentice Saunders from San Francisco Police Department. He's got a nice hat.
Such a cool hat.
Not to keep repeating myself, you can find out all about this case back on episode 88.
Look at this guy's cool hat, and they got the cable car behind him. Like this is San Francisco as fuck.
This is pre-89 earthquake, by the way. That freeway's probably not here anymore.
Yeah, no shit.
St. Joseph's victim is apparently the principal signature of Satanists.
Is it?
Well, no,
Well,
he's
that looks like the flyaway from going from downtown San Francisco towards like Mariposa, and like from King, but it's on the Embarcadero that got torn down.
It's funny because like there was like a bunch of it was like an empty lot. It's like yeah, that lot's not fucking empty anymore.
that lot was sold for $14 million, and they put
Right.
2 condos on it.
The victim has never been identified. For purposes of this case, he was called John Doe number 60.
The first code
Oh
would
my
be
God, the
lips that
fajita
seal
gate
the
guy.
person's
Jesus.
mouth for all eternity.
That's
They
some
also
San Francisco
poured wax,
politics
I
for
guess,
you.
in
Look
the
it up.
eyes.
There you go, yes.
For all eternity.
They did much more to John Doe number 60, but we'll spare you the details.
Kind of looks like Dolly.
Caught and convicted of murder.
That looks like Bob Hope.
And ritual abuse. Saint Joseph and another
Very mad
This is-
Bob Hope.
currently serving
This is his Wario version, Bob
and
Hopeless.
remains free.
Bob Despair.
You can tell Tabitha's been drinking because she laughed at that instead of admonishing me.
Teenager here. To be chained up.
I love you.
How can you say you
Love
have
you.
no guilt when you bring a 17-year-old kid
Oh my god, I
in here?
love his pack of Marlboros under his shirt at his shoulder.
It's not even like, you know, you see him like curled up in the sleeve, but no, it's just like kind of tucked into his tight ass shirt on the shoulder.
It's like a parrot, but cigarettes.
Chained up. What are you talking about?
Now, normally I would edit out extraneous sounds like this, but in case anybody's wondering, yes, I really did go get a pickle. Let me know if you can hear it on the tape.
Yes, it is a nightmare. Are there devil worshippers?
Oh, this is so good.
Murderers involved in this particular case at large?
In this particular case, yes.
What's the difference between a gherkin and a pickle?
One person identified. One
I think it's
man,
just the
other man
size. I think
identified who
gherkins
was
are
present
small.
During this particular homicide.
I will leave everyone to make their own jokes.
It's all
Yeah.
over the United States and probably all over the world because it's just something that people are experimenting with now.
I experimented with Satan, and look at me now.
It's on my forehead. It's me if I can get up on that highway.
Are we not done with Manson yet?
Don't understand. It's
Boo.
I'm done with every Manson except for Shirley.
God.
I'm
All
done
right.
with Charlie.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
done with
allow it.
Marilyn.
All of these satanic
Yes.
murderers
Just me and Shirley are tight.
The acts
I think,
that they have been
ooh,
convicted of committing
yeah, the
are
vodka's,
so horrible that the question
ooh,
could fairly be
strong.
raised again,
Little strong.
why
Yeah.
are we doing this
We lost
There's a
broadcast?
lot-
Daniel.
Doing it, ladies and gentlemen.
there's a lot going on there.
Daniel.
These cases are too often overlooked, too often underreported.
I think TSC TV still has that documentary about the Process Church if you want some potentially interesting Manson-related material. He doesn't come in until the
Nope.
end there, but
Satellite, we have another.
Don't give a shit about
satanic murderer. His name
Manson.
is Charles Gervais. He is currently serving a life sentence in Angola.
Yeah, this guy looks
Penitentiary
like he's on
in
the level.
Louisiana.
Let's hear what
Mr.
he has to
Gervais.
say.
Why, in Satan's name, did you hammer?
It's funny because Geraldo's like,
strangled
why
to
in
death an
Satan's
innocent person?
name did you do
Did you
this, that, and the
really
other? And I'm
think,
like,
sir, that they were going to give you 10,000
I feel
souls
bad
as
because
devil?
I say things like in Satan's name, you know, for Satan's sake. You know, it's become part of my vocabulary in a non-ironic way, in the way that
Yeah.
Geraldo's using it. And I'm like,
Get to the point
fuck you,
about
dude.
Satanism, Charlie.
That's my words.
this is, I think, the fourth time in this broadcast that we've gone to a confessed murderer and asked him to account for the devil. Even if you
Yeah,
think this is good reporting, like, the well is going dry.
Where were you going to get this power? Where were you going to use this power?
I love how
you know
mad
what,
he
like-
sounds.
In hell.
I would like to see like
Person on earth
basically
to get the
like
power of
a
10,000
version
souls in
of
hell. Are you
The
sick?
Office about Satanists. About us just going to work, we get in our
Yes.
car, we get stuck in traffic, we gotta go get gas. We
In
have, like, a
Satan's
little-
name.
Yeah, we have like a little tiff at the office because so and so didn't fill the copier with paper again after it ran out. But just the only difference is that we tend to wear more
FBI
black, and we'll be like,
Former
for
head of
example,
regional
say,
office in
for
Los
fuck's sake and for Satan's sake. That's the only
Right.
difference.
I gotta bring up here, conspiracy assholes love Gunderson because it's true, he was a highly placed FBI agent for a long time there, although he was not. A lot of people call him the bureau chief. He was not. And he did lose his mind and fall into conspiracies in later years. He claimed that the government tried to assassinate him with a laser gun twice. And it is criminally negligent that Geraldo did not ask him about that during this interview. Gunderson
That happened before
died.
this?
Yeah, Gunderson dead about 5 or 6 years ago, I think. Non-laser gun related death.
No, but he had his laser gun accusation before 1988.
Good question. Don't know. Somebody's gonna have to, again, if any of our listeners know.
After this commercial break, we're going to have the anatomy of a satanic crime, showing you why law enforcement has had such a difficult time coming to grips with the strange.
Because it
shadowy
doesn't
world.
exist.
Because it's not real. Satan's Underground is just a cool rave party that you're invited to.
Hey, does anybody feel exposed?
I feel drunk. Is that the same?
One
that
reason
the
we
same
think you haven't
thing?
heard more about them is that
I have
many
a
satanic
new
crimes
sweater.
are
I'm
simply
nice and
not
warm
recognized
and
as
not
You look so
exposed.
cozy.
It's nice. Oh,
These
I don't want to see these
ritualistic
crime
crimes
scene
are
photos.
everywhere.
I
Yet in most
know.
communities, they are either overlooked or underreported.
Dolly.
There's an example going
Yeah,
on
the
right
man's
now
got quite the
Well,
mustache.
This I'm into.
In
I'm
this
into the
town, in a
inverted
quiet
crosses.
residential neighborhood, a series of
I
brutally
still
violent,
like
horrible crimes
if
have been
you know
committed.
I
And
win
yet
the
police
the
and prosecutor in
Powerball.
this town seem either
You know, I've got
unable or
a
unwilling
lot
to
of
draw the
plans. I've
obvious
got a lot of
Yes.
plans for the
between what
Powerball.
happened
Same.
here
One of
and
them
Satanism.
will be
All I know
a
is,
dedicated
the
satanic
whole thing was
cemetery
evil.
where we have like all of our
Aw.
inverted crosses and we have all of our, you know, sigils and such. And here's our big difference. We don't close at sundown and we encourage
Yes.
the goth kids to come in and take pictures.
Yes.
Transformer looked too much into
You know,
it.
it's funny. I was watching the Thriller video earlier today, and you can tell that it's fantasy because there is no gate or wall around that cemetery when they walk by in the dead of night.
The police arrested
Right.
Bordella. When they searched his home, they found over 250 photographs of young men, including Jay, in the process of being tortured.
Tortured?
This is some fetish shit that I'm not consenting to.
Guys that he had.
This poor guy. This guy's been
Yeah.
through some shit.
Yeah,
Sex
gets
work
to,
is real
gets to
work,
be on the
people.
Geraldo. Yeah, like gets to be on the Geraldo special as a male prostitute. He's just a guy.
Young men, usually hustlers like Joe. Many of them runaways who cluster in Kansas City.
Again, you know, they're padding for time here.
For a small
Right.
amount of money, these
I was
kids
just
go
saying,
anywhere
this looks
to
like
do anything
survival
with
sex
anyone.
work, and
Yeah.
this is making me feel gross.
Yeah, and has nothing to do with fucking Satanism at all.
I mean, some sex workers might be
Oh,
Satanists.
that's a
In fact,
satanic-
we know several,
Yeah,
but
but-
that's...
Seems straight from hell. And he ran this macabre shop of horrors, possibly stocking it with his own unique hobby. By agreement with the district attorney.
I'm pretty sure
Bordella
that
was
guy
allowed
was
to
one of
plead
those
to one
wrestling
count of
guys,
murder.
like the
He
managers.
received a life
Who's
sentence.
Paul Bear?
Many people in this
Ah,
community
yes.
were outraged that the investigation went no further.
Did you pursue,
Wah.
did the police pursue these allegations of satanic involvement?
The police
It's Paul
department,
Bear!
it's my understanding, called in some people
His voice
who
is a
knew
little
about
low for Paul
witchcraft,
Bear.
talked to them about that.
Mm.
Also, Paul
particular
did keep his
aspect of
hair,
the
or at
case
least his hair piece
basically
until
went
he
nowhere.
died.
County legislator Carol Cole disagrees.
Why do you think there is no attention being paid to that ritual aspect of this case?
You're in the heart of America, the Bible Belt, and we hate to think that people like that live next door to us. We're turning our backs on acting like it doesn't happen. We're putting our
The
hands
Bible Belt
over
seems the
our
most
eyes as if
interested
it
in this
didn't
kind of
occur
shit,
here.
if you ask
No
me.
shit.
Murder.
Yeah.
This is Detective
I was
Lee
just
Orr of the
reading
neighboring
the
Kansas
other
City,
day,
Kansas Police Department.
somebody ranting and railing about after-school Satan clubs again, and they refer to their town as the Buckle of the Bible Belt.
I'm sure.
Stop
Yeah.
saying that.
We've
The Bible
also
Belt has
had
so many fucking buckles you
contact
could buy it at Hot
with
Topic at this point.
People that have come out of the
No. It would be a Final
who have
Fantasy
definitely made
character.
statements and,
Why did my brain go
What?
to Ed Gein and the nipple belt?
Mr. Bordella was involved, at a high
I mean, I think we know
level
why, because you're
in the
Simone, and we
cult.
love you for it.
If these allegations exist, as we narrate to you that
Triangle mustache,
isn't it
triangle
reasonable that if you
mustache,
pursued them
triangle
with
mustache
vigor,
hates
you might
triangle
find
mustache.
evidence that could
It's just
pin
he has a
more of
very
these crimes
long
on the
upper
stand
lip,
that might help
and
solve
it's
some of the
covered with
cases of
mustache.
missing children
Yeah.
and missing young adults
So
that
it's
you
They
have
have
in
a
the
fight.
surrounding community.
Mustache
There isn't any
wins.
question
Triangle
that
mustache.
If there are people who have information.
Again, I want to
about
point
him
out we're
being
teasing
involved
these
in
people's
witchcraft,
appearances because
Satanism, and that information has not been
we're
given to
teasing
us,
how everybody looks
that
because we
would
don't
love
want to
to
listen
have
to
it
what they're
because it
saying.
would be further leading
That,
to
very
follow.
true. Like, I don't give a fuck about this guy. Unless he's a shithead, then I do give a fuck, and I hate his mustache.
Show local authorities have long been aware that devil worshippers were
Disciples of
conducting large-scale
Lucifer.
ceremonies
In the
in
waterworks
Kansas
park.
City area. Ida.
Who wants to go to the water slides, guys?
The Satan water slides? Because I'm down.
Well, you can't go to the Jesus water slides because when you hit the water at the end, you just stay on the surface and you skip like a stone.
At a meeting in the area,
Jesus turned the water to wine again, and the kids all got
on the
loaded.
platform in a throne.
I would go
Sharon.
to that. I would go to that.
Sacrifice
Come back
took
to
a
us,
meeting
Sharon. We
him.
miss you.
Stand for him.
Again, what do you think Sharon's doing today?
Position. He was a VIP.
Yes, he was.
You think people she knows ever
What
see this?
happened there at that ceremony?
Well, they're not showing
Maybe.
your face.
A young man killed, a young boy. He was 16
Sharon.
years old.
Did you ever tell the police about any of this?
No, I didn't.
Wow. Because it didn't happen.
People don't believe you when you talk about these things. People just do not believe these things happen.
I'm
Remember,
good at
aside
tennis.
from the torture and sodomy of Jay, who escaped, Burdella has pled guilty to just one murder. A runaway whose skull was found inside his house.
Okay, yeah,
The
you probably
second
did
murder
it.
charge is pending. Yet police sources tell us Burdella is suspected in at least 7 homicides. When they excavated his backyard, they found remains of 3 people. Paul Howell believes his
This reminds me again,
19-year-old
shout out to
son
the author
was
of the
among
new book, Digging Up Devils, which I haven't read yet, but it's on my list, I promise.
It is one thing for law enforcement to be uninformed.
Do you need a copy?
It's quite another, though, for them to refuse to follow known
I mean, I wasn't fishing for one, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. Hey, listeners, get Daniel a copy of this book.
I'm saying, I think that guy does listen, so I want him to know, you know.
Oh. We want your book, dude.
No, I was gonna say I'm not fishing for a freebie there. I want him to know it's on my list. I am interested.
We'll pay for it. You tell me about it, and I will pay for it and buy the book.
I want to fish for freebies, except I just want like pizza. Can I? Someone send me a pizza?
I want Satan snacks.
Our neighborhood pizza place does have a pizza called the Lucifer. It's unfortunately not very good.
Oh wait, that's not the one that's good.
It's got Kalamata olives. You'll remember I'm not a fan.
Oh yeah.
If you get
olives either.
Yeah, if you get it with regular black olives, it's not
Apparently
bad.
also happened to Harriet's kid, Bonnie's husband James, who disappeared.
Mustache. You know what? I wish mustaches were still in style. Like not just for like
Ironic hipsters.
Yeah, and I don't even know if ironic hipsters are still in style, but like ironic mustaches, I think are. I just want real mustaches. They're great.
I want to point out right now, I am.
He looks great. He looks amazing. I would be friends with this guy.
Will you charge
Not this guy though. No. Not with triangle
something that I can tell you yes or no.
I am right now living in a facial hair purgatory of my own making because I didn't shave for like a week, not for any particular reason. I was just like pure laziness. And Tabitha was like, "Are you growing a beard?" And she really liked that idea. So now I'm committed, even though I've told her it's not going to go well.
You're committed.
But,
He looks so handsome.
Aww.
That's sweet of you to say it's not going to fill in because it never does. You're going to beg me to shave it.
He looks so handsome.
But I want to point out, if I had just gotten off my ass and shaved once the week of Christmas, this wouldn't have happened.
But stand up.
So I really have no one to
Detective
blame.
Sergeant Lee Orr from the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department.
This guy's a Christmas elf, and this is his friend.
Michael McKee of the Kansas City,
See,
Missouri.
I went to the dark place because I'm like, that guy looks like Bud Dwyer.
Reporting as late
Oh.
as yesterday that the district attorney
I hope that doesn't
in
end
your
the name on
community
this
is still
show.
insisting that the Burdella case.
So I want to point out here, there's a lot of people on social media saying, are we having a new satanic panic? And I say no. I mean, we're having, moral panics and cult scares, but we're always having those. I think the distinction is a large-scale moral panic like this is happening on multiple levels of society. It's in like fringe media and mainstream media and law enforcement and the DA's office and doctors are getting in on it, parents are getting in on it, religious weirdos are getting in on it. There's every strata of society, government at a local and state and federal level to a limited degree, at least in the case of the feds, are all getting in on this. And so we're not really seeing that with, say, Pizzagate. That's still mostly isolated to a few trenches for now.
Program so far, and you have heard the words about child abuse. A woman by the name of Cheryl Horton and others.
Yeah, I feel like if we're going to talk about like a religious gate, then it's probably not Satanism and probably more like,
deal with that when we come back.
Muslim.
In as much as people are shit, I'm trying to like help explain, but I'm not in a condition to.
We'll save it for a sober episode. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more about Americans' inherent xenophobia and racism and Christofascism.
More people tune in
Yeah.
than tune out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's always some cultural paranoia going on. That's not surprising. Again, see David Frankfurter's book Evil Incarnate for more on that.
Please get them out of the room or change the station.
It's time.
I gotta take all the stuffed animals out of the room.
We're gonna no, it's parental discretion, even though we have had animals and dead people.
Right?
So far. But now is the time.
Performed by people calling themselves
Wow.
Satanists. There is no longer any doubt about that, though just how
Wah.
often it actually is done is obviously impossible.
Hey Simone, did you see the Sacrifice game on Shudder?
We are told, apparently
No.
requires babies.
Interesting watch.
And there are those.
Any good? Okay.
People in satanic
Wah.
sex, including mothers.
I
who have
just now
babies
learned that they're making an
tell
The Omen
of babies being
prequel
bred
with Bill
for
Nye.
sacrifice.
Wait,
Which
why?
I don't know.
Oh, hey, I've seen this movie.
We talked about that when we did our Omen episode, is the fact that those movies assume that there is this conspiracy of Satanists who we never really meet in any detailed way, and this movie is about that. So it's possible that that'll fill in some of those details in a illuminating way. Probably not really.
You know, I have to tell you, it upsets me so much how much I like this movie because Roman Polanski is such a piece of shit. But fuck, I love that movie.
Okay, two things. First of all, John Cassavetes and oh my god, the woman who plays the old lady in Rosemary's Baby.
Ruth Gordon.
Thank you. Both on very excellent episodes of Columbo, separately. Very excellent. So here's my theory on Polanski. Is that his crime happened in what year? It was the 70s, 80s?
Yeah. Post Rosemary.
Okay. So this is like, you have to kind of like, some people try and separate the art from the artist and try and like, work out how to enjoy the works of problematic peoples. So I'm just sort of like, if it happened before the crime, I kind of don't feel too bad about consuming that media. It's after the crime that it makes me feel uncomfortable because people would know and still chose to work with him. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like a part of my approach to problematic creatives like that. Not a perfect approach, of course, but one that kind of sits a little bit better with me.
That, by the way, while you'll probably never get a Ninth Gate episode of this show, even though I would like to talk about that movie, that movie is like, it exists in a weird liminal space between being so bad it's good and being actually good. It's neither of those things.
Right.
But also has Johnny Depp in it, who also sucks.
Life after love?
You take the baby's skin off? Do you feel
yeah, so we've been talking through the baby breeder stuff. They had Lauren Stratford herself appearing there, pre-breakdown apparently.
Yeah, so this woman is wearing what appears to be a black curly wig and giant black sunglasses. And Geraldo was asking her about
during the therapy sessions.
Looks like the Humpty nose.
Daniel.
But Geraldo was asking her if she had any regrets, and she's like, well, Geraldo, if I could turn back time.
If unconscionable.
Patch about 3x4 off of her stomach, skinned her, and said, we'll skin you all the way if you talk or cry.
If I can find a way.
We won't be seeing any evidence
no
of that.
butt pants.
We won't be seeing any evidence of that skinning injury, of course. Speaking of skinning, my secret Satan sent me, give me a DVD copy of The Black Cat.
Okay, I don't know any Taylor Swift songs. Please, someone sing a Taylor Swift song.
Okay, I can't. When Taylor Swift was in town and we were doing stories on her, I had to ask my fucking 20-year-old intern, like, can you tell me some Taylor Swift songs so I can like write this into the article as like fun?
Oh wait, I know one. Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods? Okay, that's all I know. Yay!
You know what Xena says about the Church of Satan these days?
What?
She says, "We are never, ever, ever getting back together."
Thank you.
Oh,
Goat Skull, cool.
I want that Goat Skull so much.
Who's
Why are we
his friend?
I
He looks
think
like a good, cool guy.
He's not.
He looks like fucking Falco.
Because the charges are so bizarre. Most
No child drew that.
Absolutely
no
not.
Child
Isn't that
drew
though?
that.
I'm drunk. I can't remember what's the monster that's the head with the entrails hanging out of it.
Is it like a yokai?
Penagallon. There we go.
All right, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
They sound beyond the capacity of human beings.
This guy looks like he eats a lot of peanuts.
Good.
This guy looks like Joe Mateer, which nobody who has
Does he eat a lot of peanuts?
See, I was thinking he looked like a cross between William Sanderson and Gerald Major Dad.
You know, I think it's fair to say
we're his fucking name.
We're well past the point of engaging critically with the material here.
They tell us of the threats they've received.
Daniel, I lost you for a minute there. What'd you say?
I said we're well past the point of engaging critically with the material here.
What the fuck are we watching?
Well, for the audience's note and for Daniel's editing note, we are 1 hour 18 minutes in.
Therapists have been.
You know what? I bet you anything, Simone, that when Daniel edits this, I'm going to hear him out loud say, "Thank you so much, Simone."
1 hour 18 minutes 31 seconds.
Shortly after this,
Diet Coke
started to get telephone death threats.
One of the things that I would add is that we are now hearing these reports from literally hundreds of therapists.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. Like, if Satanism was all about power and money and whatever, do you think we'd be living on the fringes? Do you think that, like, the after-school Satan clubs would be, you know, all shit on? Do you think that these people's, like, holiday shit would be destroyed, like any of the shit? Like, no, because we'd be in power and we'd be amazing.
I'm just like, I would be the head of my own fucking studio by now, making movies with subliminal messaging to turn people into Satanists. If selling your soul and becoming a Satanist is all that it takes to be successful in Hollywood, I would have done it by now.
Right. I would not live in an apartment.
Simone does work for Disney, so does that.
That's true.
For now.
Examples of Satanism here are completely from a
Oh, that sounded ominous, but there's like a lot going on.
Put forth as being considered satanic is not considered satanic by my standards.
I gotta tell you, Zena's eyebrows are giving.
Okay, I was about to say, I need to know the name of her lip color.
Cheryl Horton.
Agreed.
I do like a nice dark rusty red.
Cheryl Horton.
Xena in the tough spot here where, again, after like going on 90 minutes of nonsense, she can't debunk everything that's been said here, even though she must be smart enough to realize it's all bullshit. But, you know, that's a task beyond the brief window that's being given here, so all she can do is disassociate from it.
Right. I don't remember anyone named Cheryl Horton in the band The Breeders.
Cheryl, listen. The stories, let me interrupt you.
How do you interrupt somebody on a TV screen?
Dump in the ocean, chop up the bodies. These things, they sound like they can't be.
Could you imagine being on, like, I just feel so bad for our Satanists, which I will never say probably before or ever again for Xena and Aquino, but like just sitting here and having to experience this absolute fucking hogwash, like, must have been excruciating.
Just like knowing television and working in it and having been on it, like I would never, if I got an interview request from anyone who was like a Tucker Carlson, you could not fucking pay me enough to be on that fucking show, because I know how they work and how hard they will fuck you, and it's not worth it. And I see other Satanists, you know, modern Satanists, people we know or know of, and they go on these shows, and like I kind of get the point of like why they're doing it, but I just think it's a waste of time, and I would never. I would never.
Aquino there injecting a rare moment of lucidity into here. This was a live broadcast, by the way. It would have been everything it would have taken everything in me not to just yell bullshit during one of these other segments. What can they do? They can't edit it.
To investigate these people, it's a lot of work.
I've told the story on the show about.
Can find you.
And don't want to get involved.
I told the story on the show about how I was invited on Tucker Carlson not to talk about Satanism, and I just told them, no. That's
but you were supposed
not,
to talk. You were supposed to talk shit about San Francisco, which is their other fucking favorite subject.
About San Jose, actually, weirdly enough.
No.
Or
And actually, if I was
Indigenous
Aquino,
Peoples Day, right?
is a sincere man with a good reputation.
I just gotta say, if I was Aquino and this was a live broadcast, at some point I would just say Aquino like as loud as I possibly fucking could.
It needs more investigation, but if these things are
Like, I would not actually, like, Simone would not actually do this, but if there was a version of Simone that was invited on one of these live shows, I would just take my top off and start screaming, "Hail Satan!" Like, why
these
not?
days it's these days there's a delay on these broadcasts for I assume that exact reason. Going back to Xena for a second, I'm always kind of at a crossroads to go back to episode 158 there about how much I empathize with her, because on the one hand, she said and did some really dumb things around this time in her life. We've talked about some of them here, but on the other hand, she says she's a child of an abusive household and later turned her back on a lot of this stuff, and so and I just haven't really been exposed to a lot of her material in the modern day and age, so I never really know how to feel about her.
I mean, I think as Satanists we realize that people are complicated. Things are not black and white. People are a mix, and there are shades of gray, and people do bad things and believe bad things and can change and vice versa. And then it's you don't have to feel any kind of way about her. Like, she's a human being, and human beings are fucked up in each their own special way. So you don't have to like align yourself with her or forgive her or like praise her or condemn her. She just is. I'm halfway through this bottle.
I don't want to tell you how much bourbon I've had because it's a lot.
There's a
long week at work. It was a short and also long week at work.
God, same, huge same.
On the
also,
spectrum,
Temple of Set. Sorry, baby. Go ahead.
It's okay. The spectrum of LeVay kids, we've got Carla, the person we're most likely to meet, although I never have been in the room with her, never actually had a conversation. Xena's right in the middle there. I can imagine some circumstances where that happened. And then, of course, Satan, who is like Bigfoot. Like, if this guy even exists, he is very he's wily and elusive in his native habitat.
Well, I mean, we did meet the grandchild, right?
Stanton, yes.
When you hear story after story of people committing these wretched crimes, these violent crimes in the devil's name,
you find one common thread to that all these people that you've shown tonight come from a background in which their moral instruction has been from a religious tradition other than ours.
He's a Romulan!
Some other mainstream one.
Every time I hear Romulan, my brain goes Remulin. The Romulans and the Remulans.
Yes.
Yep. Again, as much as I do find Aquino distasteful in many ways, a great point that he's interjecting there into the conversation. Why are we going back to...
You've heard the Satanists say that it is not the teaching that is wrong, it is the person that's wrong. Are you using Satanism as a cover for your
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Yes. Okay, wait. Did they call it the Satan Seller because his name was Sean Sellers?
That's a different guy.
Oh.
That's very confusing.
I know, but he could have used it, right?
Satan Seller 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Satan's published in the 70s, so we're...
Oh. Never mind.
He was a wee babe.
I love this idea that, like, we're going to ask, like, are you just using Satanism as a cover? Like, he's going to break down and say, oh, you got me.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I can't lie when you answer direct questions, so obviously you've cornered me. You're cutting word
Also,
probe, Geraldo.
I have some questions about these, like, people who are coming in live through telecast. Like, do they really have Ozzy Osbourne just sitting there waiting for him to ask him a question?
I assume like a producer has at some point
like
dismissed
serial
Ozzy.
serial killers like just waiting there, like, or is this pre-recorded? Like, it seems very silly.
I mean, from not actually knowing the behind the scenes machinations of this show, I would assume that what Daniel said is correct, is that they had Ozzy on for the top of the show and they had him with an IFB in his ear to hear the show until someone would like producer be like, "Hey, Ozzy, we're about to throw to you," and then when that was done, the producer would be like, "Okay, thank you, Ozzy," and then Ozzy would leave. But the people in prison, they're literally not going anywhere.
That's true. Very true. Very
what
true.
else does he have to do?
Right.
But I don't want her to become some kind of Jesus freak or anything like that.
As we talked about in the previous episode, Sellers here actually kind of a cause celebre for anti-death penalty advocates at the time because it's very unusual to be putting somebody to death for a crime they committed while a minor. Obviously, he's not a minor himself at this point in his life, nor was he by the time he died. But that was the argument to try to get him life in prison instead of death, the idea that he was a teenager when the crime was committed crimes.
Do you believe in the devil?
The state not really having that.
Yeah, I'm assuming that he was
I'm telling you, there is no way out of Satanism
killed by the government.
Yeah. He was. I think just a couple of years after this. He was, of course, as is always the case, he's on death row for quite a long time.
The problem with this whole issue is that
God, this lady's hair is just like my mom's best friend from the 80s.
that people don't want to believe
Her name was
that an
Linda.
adult is
Crunchy.
a child, and
She's
I
got
don't
Linda
know
hair.
about
Crunchy.
the Temple of Set. I can't say
I
that
missed
they
it.
had
What were
anything to do
her?
with
What were
happened to my
her
child. But if you look at a
credentials here?
child's behavior,
What's
a
her
child-
deal?
I'm sorry.
I
Were you expecting me to be
she's a
listening to
believe
this
the
episode
children.
of the
Oh,
show?
she's a believe the children weirdo. All right.
that they're talking
Thank
about
you,
didn't happen
whoever
to
did
them.
that, Chiron.
From the nightmares to the running around the
Chiron?
room when they
Simone, help me.
disclose to the latching on,
Chiron,
to the crying and saying,
CG,
"Mommy,
lower
mommy,
third.
mommy, don't go out because if you go out, they're going to kill you." Threats, intimidation, fear.
I just want you to know right now, if anyone ever invites us onto something like this, I don't want to fucking go.
I would do a TV appearance, although given my job, I would probably not be able to. But like, I would not do anything live. I would not do anything that I had any sense would be a gotcha Geraldo situation. Like the Expedition X thing on Discovery was like, in the pre-interviews, I was like, no, Satanists don't do fucking animal sacrifices and mutilations and fucking, pastures and shit. And they still wanted me on. So I'm like, okay, well, they seem reasonable, and I could be able to tell them, no, we didn't do that. And then I got cut. So I was just like, but deep down inside, I am a little bit of an attention whore. So I would at least consider television appearances that weren't adversarial. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It would.
Here comes Satan.
Here comes Satan. Here comes Satan. Going down Satan Lane.
As Lanning pointed out, in any population sufficiently large enough, a non-zero number of people will commit crimes. It's actually amazing that we have so few corroborated Satanist criminals of any kind.
And that is why we brought
just statistically speaking.
I'd like to thank
Statistically speaking, being a self-declared Satanist is very,
wait.
very new, and it's very, very few in numbers.
Good night.
I think. Oh, it's over.
Yep.
I wish I had
Oh.
listened to the music. I wish I had thrown it
Oh,
out.
We're on the credits.
I wish I had
Shit,
gone to school.
I have to
James
tell you,
Robert.
and I'm sure this will be very obvious. I have not been listening to the last 45 minutes of. We've just been shooting the shit as this has been going on behind us.
Occasionally reacting to someone's hairstyle.
Right.
Geraldo did several episodes of his talk show about Satanism. A few years after this, he would apologize. He actually he walked all of this back and said that he had become firmly convinced that the SRA scare was nonsense, and he even apologized. Which I don't put a lot of stock in that, but some people didn't even do that much. So
Geraldo, you need to apologize to my face.
You need to
your
apologize
mustache.
to your mustache. Wait, is Geraldo still alive?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know what? He needs to apologize on our show.
Yeah, Geraldo.
Oh my God,
come on our show.
That actually
tell
would
us
be
about your mustache.
Extremely funny if
It's
we
great.
got Geraldo on the show.
It'll be an inverse Geraldo Satanism special. Now the Satanists get to interview Geraldo. And
Oh, I like how the production company little animation is a fucking dove on a cross.
I think this
Good
is a
job,
new
guys.
this is a new video actually. This is Occult Demon Cassette here. As
Oh.
queued up something else.
Oh, do we need to?
Oh, this is the Dave Reaver.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, I love Dave. He's like Louis Anderson, except more menacing.
Yikes.
Yeah, let's not do that.
So there we have it. That's the Geraldo special. Closing thoughts?
No thoughts, only booze.
Yeah, really. We've done a lot of these Drunk Heresy episodes, and I feel like they were a little more curated because usually Daniel has kind of like a set number of things he wants to cover, even if we gloss over it, like he has a set number of things we want to cover. Whereas we just kind of had this playing as we got drunk and shot the shit. So
yeah.
I hope no one was expecting anything else.
Again, one of these days we'll do a substantive episode about this special. It'll come along. Speaking, we did the first one of these about Michelle Remembers. Simone, have you watched Satan Wants You yet? That's on Tubi these days.
I have it on my queue. Tubi.
It's really
Tubi
interesting.
delivers
I
the
highly
fucking
suggest
goods
it
these days. Like Tubi's legit.
for sure.
That one
it's really interesting.
Not only is it streaming on Tubi, that was a Tubi original. That was their bag.
Well, when a streamer says that it's an original, what that means is that they bought it from the production company. So it's not like they did it or commissioned it necessarily.
Mm-hmm. I remember,
but no, it's very interesting. I highly suggest it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? That's a conversation for another episode. Do we want to Hail Satan to go out on?
Hail Satan to go out on.
We better, because otherwise we're gonna talk dumb shit for the rest of time.
Yeah, we've got to start dinner.
I've
been drinking on an empty stomach here, and we all know what a disaster that is. So
yeah, and it's almost like 9:30 at night, and dinner should have happened 3 hours ago. So
it's fun. It's the witching hour, I assume. 3, 2, 1. Hail
Satan. And hail Michael Aquino's dumbass eyebrows.